you obviously played well your first 2 years here. That being said, the fact that you guys have been, bottom 3, 4 against the run, how much of that do you put on yourself? How puzzling has that been to see? And, what reasons now that you can look back at the last 2 years might you point to why that's been the case?
I put a lot of it on myself in regards to your question about the run defense. I'm supposed to be the anchor, and I plan to be the anchor and continue to be that way. So, one, I think it starts with us up front without question, especially how the defense is set up. And from the first year, obviously there was a learning adjustment and time and plays and figuring out how we all wanted to fit in. And then last year, I think we understood where we needed to be, but it just came down to execution. So I think as we move forward, especially coming into these OTAs particularly, and then obviously having the same similar defense under Burke, this will be my 6th year with him, 4 years in Detroit, and obviously last year. I think there's going to be consistency there, so I think it'll be easier for guys to understand where they need to be, where they need to fit. The techniques need to become obviously a lot more sound, and then execution.
Matt Burke, you're quite familiar with him going back to Detroit. What makes him ready to become a defensive coordinator?
I think he's a smart guy. He's been very, very smart since I've known him. Obviously, my first years we were both, in essence, rookies together, and we've learned a lot together. But at the same time, knowing his history, being in Tennessee, being around this type of defense for many more years prior to that, I think he's without question prepared. I think he had a heavy hand into what our defense was last year, and you saw a lot of success in some areas. But obviously, I think he's going to put his own particular twist on it.
When you did a self-scout of your 2016 overall performance, what are some things that you're targeting to actually do even better in 17?
I think there's a lot of things. I haven't finished my self-scout. I've looked at it from my perspective. The coaches have looked at it as well, but it's a time now to really just get an opportunity to watch it together, look at some different pieces. So the self-scout is continuing to go on, as well as in finding ways to improve. So it's tough to answer that question because it's not fully done yet.
And Dominic, what do you think Lawrence Timmons can add to this defense?
I think Lawrence Timmons can add a great attitude, a guy that has a lot of experience, especially playoff experience and where we want to be. He's a very vocal person from my understanding, knowing guys that have played with him, enjoyed playing with him. I think his stats and the way he's been for his, 10-plus years in the league speaks for itself. So definitely excited to see him out there. And it was nice to hear his voice and see some dominance coming back from the linebacker position. And I think from a guy like that, you see he's played through many seasons. So health should hopefully be a good factor, which we struggled in that position with health last year.
How big a factor, you mentioned attitude, how big a factor is attitude with this defense and getting it back on track? I know it's mostly performance-based, but does attitude play a major role in that?
I think it does in some aspects, especially from a linebacker's position, in my personal opinion. I think a defensive lineman obviously can have attitude, always more of a person that's going to play with their emotions and really do it with their play, where a guy like a linebacker has to do it both ways because they have to bark out calls, they have to get people lined up and different things of that nature. And we didn't always have the best communication between all three positions, being the front, and obviously the linebackers and the DB. So I think he'll add to that particular piece.
You talked to some of the rookies here, and Coach Case has this culture going on here. Can you describe what the culture is with the Dolphins right now, and did you feel a responsibility to bring that on upon the rookies when you come to you?
Yeah, without question. I think the rookies, I've had some good interaction with them, especially today. Obviously, when they were drafted, a little tougher, but the great thing about this world, technology allows us to communicate all over the world, wherever we're at. So I've obviously been able to be in contact with them, even though I'm not physically here. So I think it's a good start. The culture, in my opinion, is growing. It's something that's always going to continue to evolve. It's always based off of your head coach, and I think we've got a great head coach. So being able to take his lessons and the things that he's learned in his career and what he wants to affect on us and be our particular focus is what we're going to go with. And every year it's going to be a little bit different because your team changes no matter what.
Hey, Dominic, the coaches have been pretty clear that they expect more of Jordan Phillips in year 3, more snaps in the production. You've worked with him closely away from the building, in the building. Just what's your expectation?
I think without question, no matter who the person is, your third year is a year that definitely you either show what you can do from a consistency standpoint, and I think that's something that they want from Jordan. I think they see a lot of great things from Jordan, and Jordan has made great plays, made big plays, and other times he's struggled in some aspects. But I think we've all gone through those growing pains. I've gone through them myself. Per se, people say I've had a down year in my second year, and my third year I picked it up. So I expect the same thing from Jordan, and I think he has an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for him to showcase his full talent.
Both rookie defensive tackles have stated that you are one of the people that they have always looked up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take that, or do you look upon that as a challenge to embrace how they feel and use it as a way to work with them? And I mean, do you look at that as part of your responsibility when young defensive tackles come in?
I think, honestly, it's flattering, and it says that I'm old, being 30 now. So I think that it plays a little piece into it. And I think where they say is, I mean, obviously they've watched me play and them coming up from high school and being in college and whatnot. But without question, embracing them. I think regardless if they said that or not, they could say older players or guys that are more consistent, or I mean not consistent, but more in other guys, for instance, Gerald McCoy or whoever it may be, they could say guys like that. At the same time, I'd still embrace them because they're on my team, and we want to be able to have the best out of them. I feel that at any point in time, they're going to be a part of this team, and they're going to be in a place where they can help affect in a positive way. So it's a matter of them coming in, understanding their roles, and then being able to see how they fit in.
What have you done to work on becoming a better leader for this team?
I think actions always are going to speak louder than words. So obviously there's communication at the first stage, but being able to work with them. I think these OTAs are going to be the biggest piece to being a part of that growth spurt for those guys as well as myself, and for us all to get comfortable with each other.
You mentioned turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about, I remember when I turned 30, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
For an athlete, it's like a real marker. When you think about your career arc,
Mm-hmm.
what does 30 mean to you?
Many more years to come, hopefully, God willing, from a health standpoint and all those different things. But talking to Andre earlier today, I think he said it best to me. It's being able to be that much more sharper, finding that much more creative ways to be successful. He noticed something in my game, which I definitely know. I'm more of a brute strength type of pass rusher, but I still have the ability to be very quick and have opportunities to be, for lack of better words, have a finesse type of game. And it's being able to mix and match those and have those come together. So it's great to have a guy like Andre who can point those things out to me, but it's something that I did in my self-scout to an earlier question.
How does the way the season ended last year, how does everybody talks about that drive, but getting to that point in the playoffs and knowing that you guys could have continued it, how does that drive you guys?
For me personally, definitely sick and tired of making it to the playoffs and not going further. And I think everybody feels that particular way. Having a good conversation with the head man, with my time away and my time here, it's a good feeling to feel that guys weren't satisfied with where we were at. And it's exciting from my vantage point to see hunger still, because that was not okay the way we finished, especially the last 2 games of our season.
Jonathan, I'm sure you don't pay attention to the Vegas odds makers, but a lot of them, the over-under for you guys, I have you at 7 wins, 7.5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Are you offended by that, or do you?
I didn't know that. Vegas is wrong lots of the time, so let's hope in this instance that they stay wrong.